A couple of days ago I made a video looking at evidence that perhaps suggested the return of the Trick House, the Battle Frontier and move tutors in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and I came to the conclusion that there wasn't really too much evidence that really suggested a return of the Battle Frontier in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Well, a couple of days later it has been brought to my attention that we have been given a couple of subtle hints towards the return of the Battle Frontier in the remakes of Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. I'm going to jump straight into it, as this is probably going to be a little bit of a short video. So without any further ado, let's discuss this little hint. I'm first going to bring your attention to the official remade Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire regional map for the region of Hoenn. I'm going to shift your attention to the bottom right portion of this little map. You can see clouds are covering up a rather suspicious portion of the map, and to a lot of people this maybe didn't mean too much to you guys. I mean, Game Freak have always used clouds or ice formations or just different things to cover up parts of the map that didn't really mean too much to the region that the games were set in, so I could understand if you guys just simply overlooked that, because if I'm being honest, that's kind of what I did, and I didn't really think too much of it. I thought the Battle Frontier would return, there was just no conclusive evidence on the official region map for Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Well, I'm going to shift your attention now to the official region map for the original Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Now, as you can see, number 26 is labelled as the Battle Frontier, right next to Pacific Log Town. That's just to the left of it, and it's also next to a couple of islands that aren't portrayed on the remade Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire map. I'll show you that again. Clouds are covering up the islands next to Pacific Log Town. That's really suspicious to me. I've got one bit of evidence though that's going to hopefully blow your minds away. Take a look at this screenshot from the trailer, the most recent trailer for Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire in Rustboro City Gym. To the left of this screenshot, as you can see, there's a region map for Hoenn. And as you can see, as I've just circled now, you can see the two islands that are covered up by clouds. This doesn't mean the Battle Frontier is going to return. That's not what I'm trying to say with like 100% certainty. However, this is a huge hint towards the return of the Battle Frontier, because as you can see on the region map in the actual games, you can see that island that inhabits the Battle Frontier. This isn't 100% confirmation that the Battle Frontier will return. This is just a subtle hint that you guys might have missed out on, and I'm sure that you guys are interested in. Hopefully, the Battle Frontier is going to return this time round. My next piece of evidence isn't really as mind-blowing as what I've just shown you. However, it's actually more of a subtle hint that's actually in the games and screenshots that we have seen. I want you guys to pay attention to the Charizard, Venusaur, Blastoise, Cyndaquil, Chikorita, Totodile and Snorlax dolls that are on show in this screenshot right here. All of these dolls were only available to be purchased in the Battle Frontier from the battle points that you have collected in the original Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire and Emerald. So, if the way of actually going about purchasing and obtaining these dolls are exactly the same this time round in the remakes, Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, this would hypothetically mean that the only way of, obtaining these would be through the Battle Point Exchange Service Corner in the Battle Frontier. This isn't the biggest hint in the world, as I've said, take it with a grain of salt, but it's just another hint that perhaps makes it more possible, more viable for the Battle Frontier being confirmed in these games. I'm really excited to see how this all works out. I'm pretty sure with all this evidence that I've shown you today, the Battle Frontier will be returning, and I hope you guys are as excited as I am, because this is, really good evidence. Before all this came to my attention, I was confident that the Battle Frontier would return, but there was no real evidence to support it returning. However, with all this in mind now, I am fairly sure the Battle Frontier will be returning with, as I always say, 95% certainty. And that makes me really happy, because That's what Pokemon X and Pokemon Y were lacking. A good aftergame with a very well made Battle Frontier system. So 300 likes would be really appreciated on this video for another Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire related video tomorrow. And feel free to subscribe so you don't miss any more of my Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire related videos. My name is Pity Winall. I hope you're excited about this evidence, and until tomorrow, I will hopefully see you guys then. Peace out.